welcome to the era of digital dementia. In the hyper-connected, dopamine-flooded, and intellectually bankrupt ruins of 2026, the modern human brain is no longer an organ of independent thought, it has become a mere terminal for external signals. Dr. Thorne is here to tell you that your attention has been systematically weaponized against you by architects of distraction who profit from your mental fragmentation. You are living in a state of perpetual cognitive poverty, your focus shattered into 1,000 useless pieces by notifications, algorithms, and the relentless, high-frequency noise of a world that fears your silence. Your prefrontal cortex, the biological seat of your sovereignty, your complex logic, and your long-term vision, is physically shrinking from disuse, while your amygdala is perpetually on fire, keeping you in a primitive loop of anxiety, outrage, and reactive fear. This is not an accidental evolution, it is a calculated design. In this 63rd chapter, we are initiating the Sanctum Protocol. We are going to shut out the digital rot and rebuild your mind into an unbreakable, high-performance fortress of cognitive dominance. We are moving beyond the act of thinking and entering the realm of total neural command. Understand the staggering biological cost of your digital subservience. Every single time you check a mindless feed, every time you react to the Pavlovian ping of a notification, you are depleting your precious neurochemical reserve. You are burning through your limited supplies of acetylcholine and dopamine for nothing more than a momentary flicker of stimulation, leaving your brain exhausted, chronically inflamed, and fundamentally incapable of the deep work required for mastery. You have become a cognitive peasant, surviving on the scraps of low-resolution information fed to you by machines that view you as data, not as a human. Dr. Thorne demands that you reclaim your neural sovereignty immediately. We are going to use neuroplasticity not as a trendy buzzword for the masses, but as a surgical weapon of reconstruction. We are going to aggressively prune the weak, distracted connections and fortify the neural pathways that lead to intellectual lethality. The neural sanctum is not a place of peaceful meditation, it is a place of intense, focused, and sometimes painful reconstruction. It is time to disconnect from the hive mind and reconnect to the dormant genius within your own skull. The siege of your attention is over, the counterattack begins now. The 2026 society thrives on your inability to focus. A distracted mind is a mind that can be bought, sold, and manipulated. By keeping you in a state of constant cognitive latency, they ensure you never have the clarity to question the structures around you. Dr. Thorne's protocol is the ultimate act of rebellion. We are architecting a mind that is anti-fragile to the noise. We are building a processor that doesn't just filter information but incinerates the irrelevant and synthesizes the monumental. You must treat your attention as your most sacred currency, a currency that you have been handing out for free to those who wish to keep you small. No more. Within the sanctum, we value the signal over the noise. We value the laser over the flashlight. Step into the silence. The reconstruction of your intellect is the first step toward true global sovereignty. How does the cognitive architect begin the physical reconstruction of the mind? It starts with the profound science of neurogenesis, the birth of entirely new neurons in the hippocampus, the brain's primary center for learning, memory, and spatial navigation. For decades, the academic world clung to the myth that the adult brain was a static organ, destined only to decay and wither with age. They were wrong. Through the Sanctum Protocol, we trigger the sustained release of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the miracle grow of the human brain. Dr. Thorne's method utilizes cognitive resistance training. Just as we stress the body in the forge to induce hypertrophy, we must stress the mind with intense, sustained complexity and abstract problem solving. We are forcing your brain to adapt to higher levels of focus and long-form concentration. This is how you grow the physical architecture of power. You are not just learning new facts, you are building a larger, faster, and more resilient biological processor that can handle the data loads of the future. But growth requires the correct molecular scaffolding. The sovereign mind utilizes synaptic optimization. We are talking about the strategic deployment of nootropic foundations, compounds designed to facilitate nerve growth and consolidate long-term memory. In the cognitive fog of 2026, most human brains are literally starving for the correct precursors to facilitate neuroplastic repair. Dr. Thorne insists that mental clarity is a fundamental biological right, but it is one that must be earned through rigorous cellular discipline. When you optimize your myelin, the fatty insulation that sheathes your neurons, your thoughts move with incredible speed, your reflexes sharpen, and your cognitive latency simply disappears. You are no longer buffering through the complexities of your life. You are operating in real time, 3 steps ahead of the curve, while the rest of the world is still trying to process the last irrelevant notification. This is the speed of the elite. Consider the synaptic pruning process. To build a strong mind, you must be willing to let the weak parts of it die. The neural sanctum requires you to stop feeding the shallow circuits that crave easy answers and quick fixes. By depriving these circuits of attention, they wither away, allowing the brain's energy to be redirected into the deep circuits of high-level creativity and strategic thinking. This is neural efficiency. You are becoming a streamlined, high-output engine of thought. Dr. Thorne doesn't want you to have a busy brain. He wants you to have a powerful brain. The difference is the quality of the architecture. We are building a skyscraper of intellect in a world of intellectual shantytowns. The BDNF is flowing, the synapses are firing, and the blueprint of your new mind is being realized in the dark light of the sanctum. The most critical and difficult stage of the reset is the dopamine fast. Your reward circuitry has been systematically hijacked by Silicon Valley engineers and behavioral psychologists who understand your primitive biology far better than you do. You are currently trapped in a cheap dopamine loop, seeking instant, low-effort gratification that leaves you feeling hollow, unmotivated, and perpetually restless. Dr. Thorne's protocol requires a total neural decoupling. We are going to starve the lower brain of its artificial highs, the likes, the scrolls, the endless streams of novelty, to sensitize your dopamine receptors once again. This is neurochemical sovereignty. When you reset your baseline, the deep work, the difficult, the complex, and the genuinely meaningful becomes the source of your greatest neurochemical pleasure. You are rewiring your brain to crave value instead of mere stimulation. Imagine the insurmountable advantage of a man who can sit in a silent room for 4 hours, utterly focused on a single, world-changing task, while his competitors cannot go 4 minutes without the twitching need to check their digital tethers. This is the cognitive singularity. By mastering your internal reward system, you become anti-fragile to the distractions of the 2026 marketplace. The world becomes quiet. The noise fades into the background. Your focus becomes a coherent laser beam that can cut through any obstacle, no matter how dense or complex. Dr. Thorne demands that you view your attention as your most precious biological currency. Do not spend it on the trivial, do not give it to the unworthy. Invest it exclusively in the monumental. The purge of the cheap signal is the beginning of the true ascension. A sovereign mind does not react to the world, it acts upon it with deliberate, unstoppable force. The dopamine reset is the death of the digital slave and the birth of the neural master. It is a period of withdrawal, yes, but it is followed by a clarity that is almost supernatural. You begin to see the world as it truly is, not as it is presented through the distorted lens of an algorithm. Your motivation becomes intrinsic, it comes from the work itself, from the mastery of the craft, and from the realization of your own power. You are no longer a puppet dancing on the strings of a notification. You are the one who pulls the strings. In the sanctum, we don't seek happiness, we seek effectiveness. And in effectiveness, the sovereign human finds a satisfaction that 1,000 likes could never provide. The reset is painful, but the power it unlocks is absolute. Once the neural architecture is grown and the reward system is recalibrated, you are ready to enter the sanctum of flow. This is the psychological state where the self and the task merge, where time seems to disappear, and where your performance reaches its absolute biological peak. In the chaotic, fragmented noise of 2026, the ability to achieve flow at will is the ultimate competitive advantage, the God mode of the human intellect. The sovereign human knows how to trigger this state using a combination of neural anchoring, environmental control, and biological preparation. You are no longer struggling against the resistance of your own mind, you are riding the neural wave. Your prefrontal cortex enters a state of transient hypofrontality, the inner critic, the doubt, and the distraction all shut up, allowing your subconscious to take over with the processing speed of a quantum computer. This is where genius resides, and this is where the new world will be built. This is the neural sanctum in its final, most lethal form. You are operating with cognitive lethality. Your decisions are faster, your pattern recognition is vastly superior, and your ability to synthesize complex, disparate pieces of information is unmatched by any machine or unoptimized human. While the masses are drowning in the information deluge of 2026, you are surfing it with ease. Dr. Thorne calls this the unbreakable mind. In a world where intelligence is becoming a commodity, deep focus has become the rarest and most valuable resource on the planet. By architecting your mind, you have become part of the biological elite. You have reclaimed the primary directive of the human brain: to create, to solve, to lead, and to dominate. The walls of your sanctum are high, the air inside is clear of digital pollutants, and your vision is absolute. You have reached the singularity of the self, and from here, you can see everything. Flow is not a random gift, it is a biomechanical state. By managing your cortisol levels, optimizing your GABA-4 calm focus, and ensuring your acetylcholine levels are peaked, you can enter the sanctum of flow on command. This is state control. A sovereign does not wait for inspiration, he engineers it. He knows the precise environmental triggers and the internal neurochemical states required to unlock his highest potential. In the 2026 ruins, while others are trying to work, you are producing at a rate that seems impossible to them. Your output is not just higher in quantity, it is superior in quality. You have mastered the deep signal. You have become the architect of a new reality, constructed within the unbreakable fortress of your own mind. As we conclude this 63rd monumental transmission of Dr. Thorne's Secrets of Longevity and Sovereignty, I want you to take the vow of the neural sovereign. This is the official end of your cognitive slavery. From this day forward, you will no longer allow your attention to be sold to the highest bidder or sacrificed on the altar of the algorithm. You will treat your focus as a sacred weapon and your brain as a divine, unbreakable fortress. You will engage in the dopamine reset to reclaim your drive and the Neurogenesis protocol to expand your capacity beyond the limits of your birth. You will refuse the digital rot of 2026 and embrace the absolute silence of the sanctum. You will be the master of your own mind, and you will not allow the petty noise of the world to penetrate your inner sanctum ever again. The transmission of the 63rd is complete. The cognitive singularity is now encoded in your strategic intent and your neural pathways. Go out and use your newly architected mind to reshape the reality around you. Let the masses wonder how you remain so calm, so terrifyingly focused, and so relentlessly productive in the middle of the digital storm. Tell them you have visited the neural sanctum and learned the ultimate truth, that the greatest power in the universe is not found in the silicon of machines, but in the optimized, sovereign human mind. This is Dr. Julian Thorne, ending the broadcast for the architects of the new intelligence and the unbreakable masters of focus. Stay sharp. Stay sovereign. Stay lethal. The noise of 2026 is loud, but your mind is finally stronger. Farewell, you cognitive titan. We will meet again at the center of the next protocol. The sanctum is yours.